Hi, I'm Crystal, founder and CEO of PickUpp, a tech platform to help e-commerce to deliver with flexibility and transparency. Before founding PickUpp, I was with the early launch team of Uber Hong Kong and noticed an interesting phenomenon. A lot of merchants would want to send fruits, vegetables. They will hack an on-demand app. They will avoid using traditional third-party logistics players by manually batching orders to different drivers and make them deliver to multiple stops. So it's and I know that there's a real pain point to be solved. And if you look at some Reuters survey, you also notice that shoppers' mindset is changing. 80% said they want same-day shipping, 61% said they want it within 3 hours, and a lot say if same-day shipping is offered, it makes them more likely to shop. However, there's a catch. They didn't ask how much more are they willing to pay for same-day deliveries. Somehow everyone expects deliveries to be free. Existing startups, a lot of what I call competitors like a Lala Move or like a Google Van, they use a gig workforce matching platform to speed up the delivery process, but it's expensive and it's funded by a lot of subsidies. The other side of things, which is the predictive analytics and routing system, all these are not tapped, but ultimately they're not addressing the questions of what the client wants. They want not just fast, but they also want reliable and also cost-efficient deliveries. So that's what PickUpp is focusing on: predictive analytics, smart routing, and also doing real-time optimization. With that, we are able to offer our merchants holistic delivery solutions through tech. And that's how we do it. First of all, we have our own natural language processing and address recognition, identifying types of addresses at a higher accuracy than Google Maps. We also have smart sorting logic, enabling micro and nano hubs in the area to sort by distance, not just that, but also capacity, the opening hours, and also temperature. Thirdly, we also run dynamic batching algorithms to cluster efficient orders together, which is proprietary technology to boost efficiency. We also run predictive pricing models using machine learning, trying to match the best suited agent at the lowest possible cost for our merchants, giving them back all these cost savings. And further, we have GPS tracking all the way down to a warehouse or to an agent, and also live chat system providing real-time feedback to prevent unsuccessful deliveries. With that, our business model includes charging merchants delivery fees. They can be someone who's running a neighborhood pizza joint doing hyperlocal deliveries, online shops, SMEs doing nationwide deliveries, maybe intercity deliveries, and to some extent, cross-border e-commerce platforms where they need end-to-end cross-border solution. Instead of running as a heavy model, meaning owning warehouse or owning fleet, we intelligently connect all these fragmented resources so that we can optimize them and maximize the utilization. With that, our merchants can easily debottleneck the peak sales period, which is usually Q4 when everyone is shopping, helping them to realize more than 30% logistics cost savings and achieve 5 times peak capacity when they need it. And we are tackling a pretty large market in Asia with just the third-party logistics market is a 56 billion addressable market size we're talking about. Adding on food and perishables O2O is another 16 billion. So in total, it's a 72 billion market that we're talking about. PickUpp started operating in Hong Kong in mid-2017. We expanded to Singapore and also Malaysia in 2018. We also started Taiwan in 2020. Our goal is to tackle 10 cities in the coming 5 years. We achieved over 12 million delivery revenue in 2020. I'm expecting a 3x growth by 2021, about 40 million, and also another more than 3x growth by 2022. We connect over 10,000 brands to date, and with more than 80,000 fleet companies and also delivery agents. This is only a very short and condensed list of clients who love us and also using us on a daily basis. We are a passionate team of 80. My background was in software engineering and have done investment banking. Other management team consists of marketplace experience or tech or management consulting. We're also backed by strong shareholders, including Vision Plus Capital, Alibaba Entrepreneurs Fund, Spark Ventures, Spark Labs Taipei, and Swire Properties. So our vision here is to redefine logistics with tech and a data-driven approach. Our agility, transparency, and flexibility empowers e-commerce players and help them to access the borderless e-commerce. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's start with a question from the judges. Thanks. That is super interesting. I think when you're talking about smart routing or routing, I think you're trying to crack the so-called traveling salesman problem, correct?
It is not a traveling salesman problem because we are not running a fleet. So traveling salesman problem mean that you have a limited amount of supply. So that's only one salesman. You're trying to find the best route so that he can perform the deliveries or hit all these spots. But with a gig model, meaning we have different freelance agents, people who have spare time. That means we are trying to just solve for local maximum, meaning as long as they reach certain economic threshold, the marginal cost is low enough. We want to push these orders to them so that they can perform the deliveries. Hence, it is a way more flexible model than running fleets.
Interesting, thanks. And so in terms of finding that so-called local maxima or minima, how do you solve for that?
There are many ways. Right now, we run predictive models with our merchants' deliveries, meaning as long as you establish patterns as to frequency you deliver to certain places. So that's one variable. We also look at the supply and demand dynamics on a real-time basis. So let's say if you have something going from Causeway Bay to a TST crossing a harbor, as long as you present certain predictability at different times, we're able to find out how much cost we can save for you. Because with that, we are able to batch your orders with other merchants who display similar characteristics, meaning crossing the harbor. And we can even predict different times when we have a lot of freelance agents online. So the more agents we have online, meaning you can find lower cost agents to create certain bidding intention. So in total, we have about 20 variables that we look at, which is proprietary.
Great, thanks. So I'm wondering, how do you deal with the damages occur during the deliveries, because you want to deliver reliable, services. So I'm wondering, if the items being delivered suffer any loss or damages, how do you deal with that? Potential risk or issues.
Yep. So far, the loss or damage rate on our platform is very low, less than 0.01%. So I think out of 1,000 parcels, maybe one. But obviously, there's no perfect solution. As you will be aware, in the supply chain, you will go through different parts. Like there's a sorting partner, there'll be line hauling partners, and then there'll be a nano warehouse, and then there'll be a last mile partner. So it can be quite lengthy. So I think what we do is that, one, we do have a blanket insurance we have in place, meaning it is almost the same as if you go to a DHL to insure for the loss or any kind of damage. The second is also using tech to have alert, and also being able to monitor the life cycle of these parcels. So let's say with real-time check-ins, inbounds and outbounds, if they do not inbound, that means there's a risk of item being lost. Or when they go through warehouses, we also have agreements and training given to these freelance agents, training them how to handle certain deliveries. So for higher value deliveries, like a Dyson equipment, it can be a couple $1,000s, or even some jewelries that we send. We do have separate trainings for this freelance agent, meaning the more trainings they have, then they can take higher value items. So I think this is also a feedback loop with technology and the platform, that you can start cohorting what agents, how much training they receive and what they can handle.
So I understand you're probably balancing or helping customers to balance three key factors between cost, fill rates or service levels, and inventory turns. How much flexibility is there for a partner to kind of dial in certain service levels versus inventory amounts, or do you just have them stock a bunch of inventory? And how do you guide them through that process of inventory optimization?
Yeah, so the way we work with merchants, because 99% of them are a lot larger corporates and clients, we do help them with certain things. We crowdsource fulfillment partners, meaning we are able to help them do very last minute fulfillment during peaks if they need to, and then we also run these micro hubs. So for these micro hubs, because some merchants, they may not have physical presence in certain neighborhood, but we do have insights as to how frequent people purchase in certain districts. So we do give them guidance that they can push certain SKUs to smaller hubs during peaks. But I think this is something that it's still like a work in progress, because it can be as simple as a social seller. They're just selling one or two things. So it's very easy to give them this kind of guidance. But when you run a large e-commerce platform like a Lazada, then they are still the expert, because you're talking about like, 1 million SKUs that they're managing in their warehouse at the moment.
Hi, Crystal. Can you talk about operating kind of profitability across Hong Kong and also some of the newer markets? At what point do you reach break-even profitability in these new markets?
Yeah. So right now, we are operating in 4 places, and Singapore and Malaysia already has reached that break-even point. In fact, like for 10 out of 12 months last year, I think Singapore has been profitable. So I think so what we noticed across cities, even though they are in different demographics, population density, and stuff like that. But what the North Star metric that you look at is trips per hour, which is essentially efficiency. Once you cross this 2 to 3 trips an hour kind of threshold, that's when you see margins expansion. And then that's when you see a city being able to start supporting the local operations. But obviously, because we're still running a marketplace with reliability, meaning, as you add on more demand, you should still add more supply, and then to achieve that kind of balance. But a 2 to 2.5 trips per hour on average to get to that break even or earn positive point is what we have observed.
Thank you, Crystal. That was very interesting. We were about the deadline. We will move you to a breakout room where you will have a chance to talk to one of our colleagues. And we will soon talk to the next startup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.